My name is Tom Blackson, and this is the first in a series of videos I'm making for a course I teach at ASU, PHI 328, History of Ancient Philosophy. I'm making these videos and the lecture notes for the course available on the internet. I'm using YouTube to host the videos, and I'm renting a server for DigitalOcean to host the lecture notes on the site historyofphilosophy.com. To get to PHI 328, to get to the syllabus for the course, we click on this link, and here we are. The course is titled History of Ancient Philosophy, and in this title, it's easy to see we have two major parts: ancient philosophy and history. We need to think about these parts. Ancient philosophy, in the title here, refers to a philosophical discussion that took place in the ancient Greek and Roman world. And history in the title means inquiry. And so we're engaged in a certain inquiry into this ancient philosophical discussion. And we can get a clearer idea about the nature of this inquiry if we look at the Greek word that corresponds here to the word history in the title. And that word is hysteria. It sounds like the English word history, but it means inquiry. And there's a famous instance of it in Herodotus's history. And I think I have a link to that. Let's go and take a look. Okay, so let's go to the lecture notes. So we're on the syllabus. Now we're going to go to the lecture notes, which are linked through the syllabus. And we're going to go to the first one here for the Presocratic period, the Malaysians' turn to nature. And Greek words I often put at the end of the lecture. So if we go to the end of this lecture, we should be able to find the Greek word I was mentioning. Let's see if we can. Yeah, here it is, hysteria. And we could click on this to find the dictionary entry. But first, before we do that, let's take a look at Herodotus. So Herodotus, he was a historian that lived in the 5th century BCE. And we have a work entitled Histories that he wrote. If we click on this, we can go to the Perseus Digital Library. That's the library we're in. Let's take a look at that real quick. Can't see it. Let's see here. Where are we? There we go. So the Perseus Digital Library is an open access resource that we'll use a lot. We're interested, there's a lot going on here. We're interested in the collections and texts, and in particular, we're interested in the Greek and Roman materials. And so to see Herodotus's history, we scroll down. These are authors in alphabetical order. We go down here to the H's. Let's see here. Here we go, Herodotus. And we can click on his histories. And what we get here is his first sentence, okay? And the Greek, we can see, is over here. And the word here that means inquiry that we're interested in is this one, hysteria. And we can click on it. It'll take us to the dictionary. And we can see here's the word and here's its meaning. If we were more interested in where it occurs with this meaning in the ancient Greek literature, we can click on these two dictionaries. This is just a larger form of this one. So if we click on the smaller one, we just get quickly that a hysteria is an instance of learning by inquiry. Not that that's super helpful. We'll talk about what it really means in a minute. If we click on the bigger entry, we get a lot of references to Greek literature. In particular, we get, here's one to Herodotus. here is the one we are just currently looking at, the first sentence in Herodotus. Now, Herodotus's history is an inquiry, right, into conflicts that took place between the Persian Empire and the Greek cities. And it's a particular kind of inquiry. It's an inquiry in which he wants to uncover the causes of this conflict. He wants to know why this conflict happened and why it unfolded in the way it did. And in the history of philosophy, what we're thinking about here we go. What we're thinking about, a history of philosophy, is really the same kind of inquiry, but it's not into the conflict that took place between the Persians and the Greeks. It's into ancient philosophy, which we said in this title refers to a philosophical discussion that took place in the ancient world. So we would like to know how this ancient philosophical discussion came into existence and why it unfolded in the way it did. That's what a history of ancient philosophy is. Now, this inquiry has been going on for quite a long time, right? And so we have some results. In particular, we think that we can identify the time roughly that this ancient philosophical discussion started and the time in which it ended. And the traditional dates here are 585 BCE for the starting point of this ancient philosophical discussion, and roughly 1,000 years later, it comes to an end in 529 CE, right? Common Era. Now, we'd like to know why these dates are chosen. We're not going to concentrate too much on the end date because we're not going to get that far in this course. In this course, we're really looking at only the first rough 500 years of ancient philosophy. This is the first two periods of ancient philosophy, the Presocratic period and the period of schools. And so we'll focus our attention on why this date is chosen. Why choose 585 BCE for the beginning of ancient philosophy? Now, to get to that answer, we need to go down to the lecture notes, and we need to scroll down to the first lecture notes on Thales and the Milesians. Click on that, and here we have it. And we see here that ancient philosophy traditionally begins with Thales of Miletus in 585 BC. We can think about what this means here, right? This is the city in which Thales was thought to be born. We can look at our map over here. So if we click on this map, we can see that Miletus is down here. Here's Miletus, where Thales was born, and here's Athens over here. So this is roughly modern day Greece, and this is roughly modern day Turkey, where Miletus is. And so what we want to think about is what did Thales do, and why is 585 BC chosen to mark the beginning of the ancient philosophical discussion?